Hey, what's up? This is Vernon François. Today what I'm going to be demonstrating to you guys is how to apply casually fabulous hair extensions that are temporary, which means glued in to the scalp on the weft, which you can have and make your hair look great. And I also will be telling you what's really important to take into consideration when you are doing the hair extensions. For example, the colour. As you can see, my casually fabulous model today we have is blonde. For those that are not really sure about different colours of blonde, we would say this is kind of like a reddish blonde, for the simple fact is it's quite blonde through the roots, but if you look at the ends of the hair, it's got quite red towards the ends, so therefore the extensions I would use wouldn't necessarily be completely blonde. The hair that I have here is exactly the same colour as what my casually fabulous lady has right now, and what that creates for me is a good base to work with. So this is my base hair. The next set of extensions I have here is slightly more of an ashier tone. The reason being is, personally I like to create a contrast, and no human hair is ever the same colour. So as you can see, obviously when you put it against the blonde like so, you can slightly see that this is a more of an ashier colour. But if I was to section it on a finer scale and lift it up and then put it with this up here, you can see now how much it actually probably blends in a lot better. This is my first sectioning, and as at the beginning of the video you saw that I did a blow dry. The blow dry is fairly important because we want to get less movement through the roots and get the shaft of the hair quite smooth. So what I'm going to do now is literally, I've measured the hair from here, from point to point. It's quite important, I'll just turn here slightly from here, if you always leave out the hairline, so literally from point to point you still want to give that extra bit of hair. So what I'm going to do now is literally just put a fine line of glue, which is this glue, which is very fabulous. This is Salon Pro hair bonding glue. Because I'm using blonde hair, I've got a white glue, and obviously if your hair is darker, i.e. brown, you use a black glue. Obviously if you put this on dark hair, you're going to see the glue, so don't do that. When you're applying glue, a lot of people have different ways of putting it on. I kind of just literally skim against the actual weft of the hair. A lot of people sometimes put dots on. I do it this way just for the fact of I know it's going to stick consistently throughout the whole course of the head. So basically what I've done now is I've got this glue here. I'm literally going to apply it right around here and literally just pull that down and have quite a bit of attention when I'm applying it. Literally just hold on to it. Okay, head forward for me. What I normally do is I ask my casually fabulous ladies, can they feel the glue on the scalp? Because it's important, if it's on the scalp and they can feel it, then you've glued it correctly. If they can't feel the whole glue, then it's not glued, it's actually on the hair, which then you need to take off and do it again. So now that's actually stuck, and if you realise I haven't actually used any heat yet, what I will do now is get the hairdryer and just put it on a warm temperature and just literally go across the actual bond of the hair where the glue is. You don't want to go too hot because you don't want to burn the head, but like I said, it's actually stuck already, so you just want to secure it slightly. And that's the first section done. So I'm about to do my next sectioning, which is actually one of the most important sections of applying extensions. Obviously, as you can see, the extensions I originally applied are just literally an inch below the ones I'm about to apply. One of the things that you have to bear in mind for your next section is this. As you can see, the hairline, just turn to the side for me. The hairline here slightly goes up, and we've left out this section here. Once again, it's important because when the hair lifts up and when the wind blows, you don't see it. So it's quite important that you do it, once again, following the shape of the head, and don't go straight across, because that's when you get less movement. Can you feel that on the scalp?
I can. Nice and cold.
And literally just rub against it. So, let's have a look and see what we've got now. As you can see, the line is now starting to disappear. And this is just through my second part. It's really important that you section really well to get a good result. So this is my third section that I'm taking right now. A question a lot of people always ask me is, oh, how many sections and how many rows do you put in? It's a question that no one can ever answer for you. Once again, you work with the hair, so if you need to put more in, you put more in. My philosophy is always less is more, but it's something you just kind of use your initiative, and until you break that line up, that's how much hair you need. I'm about to do my third section. Once again, this is taken from the front of the hairline and literally drawn right back around, dipped in the centre of the hairline, and basically following a natural shape. And once again, just leaving it just like literally either a centimetre, an inch, 2 inches, depending on if your hairline's quite fine, like so. Some people get quite worried that you won't see the hair falling at the front if you don't actually stick it in at the front, but you'll see it. See, she's getting excited. I haven't even finished yet. I can feel she wants to touch it and play with it. So now you're probably thinking, oh my god, he's got stripy hair in there, you can see the contrast. If you can get stripy hair, it looks quite offensive when you buy it, but it's one of the best hairs you can purchase to put in, as far as the contrast that it gives and the movement, as you can see like this. Now that we do that, because I've done it in a certain way, you can see the front of the hair already moves very naturally, and you wouldn't even tell the difference. So we're almost finished. I've added in another 3 rows, but I stopped just before I finished for this particular reason. If you have a look, for any, I don't know, any normal person looking at the hair, they would go, wow, it looks amazing, it looks really cool. But what I can see is there's still a slight difference within this section here. You can see, because it's quite thick at the top now, and obviously a good 4 or 5 inches is not her hair, so it's not consistent with the weight, as you can see, like so. It is quite thick hair. However, if you move it now, you can see I've broken up the line, which is the main thing, which now looks amazing, it looks fantastic. It's really important that when you do your last sectioning for extensions, that you work with how the hair falls naturally on the crown. For whatever reasons, if the wind catches it or it blows, you want to know that you ain't going to see any of the tracks. So what I've done here is literally, if you just roll your hands through the hair and see how the hair sits, that's your guidance for how the hair should be glued in. So as we can see through here, the hair falls like so and like so. So what I'm going to do now is I'm not going to go too far up, because for whatever reason, if it splits, it's going to be noticed. So I'm just going to start just a little bit below that and take my section from here, and then just literally follow that section right round to the top. And the way you would do this is, as I explained to you before, is do it so you're following the shape of the head. So as it gets to the top section, it becomes more like a raindrop, so it has a point, and then it goes into a loop at the bottom and then comes back up. So this is the whole section now that's going to sit and fall over the top. Ironically, the ashy colour that I have is the one I'm actually going to put on at the top. A good way, sometimes what I find is normally a problem, is literally not getting the extension to move once I've done it. So as you can see, I put it in and literally just put my finger on that corner and then move it over. Make sure that's secured in, and then do the next corner, hold in, and then that with my next hand. The reason why I use this ashy colour on top, because the base colour is a natural blonde, and this ashy colour helps to balance that off. Now you can see the finished result. Once again, there's no line. That line's been broken up, and if we just literally, we'll do it 2 ways so you can see. If I do all this now, there's nothing to see. If you leave out the hairline on a diagonal basis, it gives you that more flexibility now to brush the hair back as you want, and literally tie it up as high as you'd like to go, and have that nice, natural, sexy, casually fabulous ponytail, which looks great. It looks hot. Like, I wouldn't know. With you?